All right, what is up, everybody? So, Shell Scout 0013 here, coming in for, just some list ideas with the Shadow Collective vehicles, and mostly using the swoop bikes. I think there's one in here that I don't have the swoop bikes, and it's mostly the buses. But yeah, I just wanted to create some, aggressive Shadow Collective lists, specifically using the vehicles as much as we can. So, and I know a few people still have questions about the overrun attack, and so I'm going to kind of address what I can today and go over everything so that you guys have an idea of, what works best and what not as well. But if you haven't already, I'll go ahead and go over a few housekeeping things. Where if you haven't already head to the Discord, you can head there now. Become a member. It's free. All you got to do is just subscribe, and, we'll send a welcome message if you have any rules questions, or if you have anything for general chat and or questions like terrain. So like Claustry here has posted, a table, and he wanted to know if there was too much terrain, or what was going on. So if you have questions like that, feel free to post them. Everyone in here is really cool. And Emperor Atlantis, thank you so much again. And Anthony Estrada, thank you so much. Or the Chosen One, y'all do so much for this group, and I really appreciate it, as well as all of the other people who are moderators and whatnot, like Graham and or Canadian Bear. So thank you guys for all of that. And if you even play Shatterpoint, feel free to come on here and talk to people, post the squads that you kind of come up with, and ask away. Even Empire chat, Rebel chat. If you've got stuff, including with Gar, like, feel free and do what you can, and hopefully you'll learn a bunch of stuff. So, secondly, if you haven't already head to the Patreon, you can go ahead and head there now and become a member. And we just had someone else sign up. Thank you. That was awesome. I really appreciate it. I will get your name on there as soon as possible once you give me the details. But yeah, you'll get, videos early, and eventually, especially after maybe just a few more people sign up, I can start doing even just Patreon giveaways specifically for you guys who are Patreons or patrons, and then do a separate one for YouTube. And or if you guys are down, I'll just combine some of that stuff, because you do actually get some extra points whenever you are a Patreon member. So I just wanted to shout that out. And then lastly, if you haven't already, you can head to theburnacademy.com, subscribe for $15 a month, and there you're going to get 3, 4, 5, and 6-day week workout programs, corrective exercise programs, stuff for at home, like I said, and 120 different recipes, tracking your progress, ways to compare your photos just in case. And I'll be adding a few more things after I'm done taking my test. And yeah, the test is in depth. I'm writing a ton, and life, and try to do a bunch of things. It's just some things get delayed a little bit. So yeah, so if you want to look like a pro and know what you're doing and have a good workout routine, go ahead and head there and subscribe for the $15 a month. And if you've got questions, again, you can feel free to ask. All right, so yeah, let's take a look at the Shadow Collective vehicles here. And like I said, I've got some AA5 stuff and some swoop bike stuff, but kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about, some ideas. So with the swoop bikes, you're going to gain cover 1, which is pretty common. You're going to have independent aim or dodge. So at the start of the activation phase, if you don't have an order token, you can gain an aim or a dodge, which is really nice because they have such a short range, weapon. It's only range 1 to 2, that taking an action to aim is very tough. So in order to close that gap, you get that independent aim or dodge by not giving them an order, and then you could, double move and then shoot and still have that aim. Or, you could take that dodge, triple move, and then on the next round, double move and still shoot, because you have your compulsory move that you have to have. Then you can move, because you're going to have the aim and or a dodge, and then you can shoot. If you already took an aim, you don't have to worry about it from the independent. And you're probably going to close that gap a lot faster. And reinforcements is really nice because you can deploy after all units without reinforcements have deployed. So that's pretty cool that you can just wait to the, even if you had less activations, you can wait until your opponent's finished deploying every one of their units and then deploy the swoop bikes at the end. And then they'll have speeder 1, so while you're moving, you can ignore height terrain or height 1 terrain or lower. And, it says that you have to, at the beginning or end of your activation, perform a compulsory move. Now, with the overrun attack, I had it up a little bit ago. If you just bear with me for 2 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. Whoop. I apologize. I did have it, but I don't know what the heck happened. All right, so if we go to Legion Quick Guide, thank you, the 5th Trooper, for all that you do for that. And we look at Overrun. So, Overrun is not a ranged or melee attack, it's just an overrun attack. So, after a unit with an overrun weapon can perform the overrun attack after it performs a standard move in which one of its miniature bases overlapped an enemy miniature space. And then after completing the move and resolving any displacement, the unit with the overrun weapon performs an attack against the unit it moved through, ignoring range when making the attack. This means that you can also, do an overrun attack against a unit in melee. So if you had Maul or someone in melee and you run the swoop bikes over the melee, you can perform that attack still. And then that doesn't count towards the heavy blaster pistol attack. So technically you could overrun twice, one from the compulsory move and one from another move, and then still use your heavy blaster pistols, which doesn't say fixed front or anything. You could just shoot anything at range 1 to 2, even if it's beside it, behind it, whatever. So you could do an overrun attack against a unit, and then when you're done, if you didn't displace them and you're behind them, then, or if you did, you can still shoot them and shoot backwards. So that's really, really cool. And I really like that about the speeder bikes. And yeah, they are speed 3. They do surge to hit and defense. They roll white dice. They each have 3 health. There's no courage or breaking down. But that overrun attack is going to be really nice because, again, these guys can technically roll dice against 2-3 different units, depending on, where they're positioned. So, let's take a look at this. We have 3 swoop bikes with comms jammer to make sure that no one around them is going to be getting an order, especially after an overrun attack and you possibly either displaced or have landed near an enemy trooper. They're not going to be able to get an order unless they give it to themselves. Then I've got 2 AA5 speeder trucks, one with the frenzied gunner and the heavy laser retrofit because it's only 3 dice. So having that frenzied gunner to be able to give it a 4th, whether it doesn't matter if it's a white or black or red, it's an extra dice in my opinion, and that it's already got critical 1, so you're already just looking for that. And then heavy cover is going to take away a lot, but it's range 1 to 4, so you don't have to be so close to the enemy. You can be kind of farther back. And especially true for the raiding party leader, who gives, he is now your field commander, and he gains allies of convenience. So technically, he could give out orders to anybody because of allies of convenience. So if you had to nominate someone, and you nominated the AA5 speeder truck because of no courage and being able to have that technical courage too, as well as allies of convenience, where he can give it to Black Sun or Pikes or Mandos or whoever. If you gave it to the speeder truck with the frenzied gunner, it doesn't have allies of convenience, so you could only give orders to swoop bikes or the AA5 truck as well. But that's why the raiding party leader is going to be kind of important, especially if you lose, the only pike capo that's in this list. And then they both have the gonk droids to last just a little bit longer. And then you've got the 2 Black Sun Enforcers that are going to be boarding it and then hopefully disembarking and shooting with the Magdet, the Black Sun Vigo, and the frag grenades, just to get you a hard-hitting list. Yeah, you could add you could possibly add targeting scopes if you were to take away comms jammers and stuff to give yourself some extra points, but for the most part, I mean, this is the basic kind of, way I'd build the Black Sun Enforcers. And then you have just a pike capo and 3 naked foot soldiers. And you're going to be using the swoop bikes and the AA5s to try to get the Black Sun in and to harass, while the pike capo and the foot soldiers go after some other objectives, especially for key positions and payload. They're going to stay in the back, and then you have payload that you could do if you wanted. And you could do like a sabotage, or let's look at the objectives. You could do intercept because you have a ton of, or you have a few trooper units, but it's not worth it because you've got 5 vehicles, and the Black Sun Enforcers are mostly shooting. Yeah, they're probably going to do what they can to gain the advantage on the objective, but they're probably going to get shot up like crazy. Recover the supplies could also be good, but again, you have 5 units that aren't going to be able to do anything with that. So that's why payload is good, because it doesn't matter if you have vehicles or if you've got anything else. The payload still works for just units. And even if you're suppressed, payload, you can still move the unit. Now, with the AA5 speeder truck, since you do have the raiding party leader, you've got demoralize 1 on all of these vehicles. So all 5 of your vehicles are going to be able to dish out a suppression at range 1 to 2 of that unit. And if anyone has standbys, like maybe even Rebel Boba with independent standby, you can get rid of that through the demoralize 1. And yeah, it's 11 activations, 797, giving you a 3-point bid. You've got all the basic command cards. You've got to bring ambush, push, and assault. So you have to give out those orders. Now with ploy and aggression and discretion, you don't have to, but at least with push, you can give them both to the AA5 speeder trucks. With the ambush, you could probably give it to one of the speeder trucks again. And for assault, yeah, you're probably going to give it to both speeder trucks, but then you have to give one more out. Unless you just use standing orders. And standing orders, you could just give it to the AA5 and not even use your assault if you don't want to. Because then, again, everyone still benefits from the independent when you don't give them that order. So that's just one way of building out a demoralizing vehicle list, which a lot of people have used. So this isn't a uncommon list that you're probably going to see, but it is still a fun list, especially with after the points changes. This is kind of what you can load them up with. And that comm streamer is really going to help on the swoop bikes. So let's take a look at mall and vehicles. So you still have your 3 swoop bikes, but then you have your speeder truck with the raiding party leader. Again, just to kind of get that extra demoralize 1 with the swoop bikes, you have the refurbished gonk droid and then the AG-2G quad laser as for the impact, really. And then you've got the Black Sun, again, with the same loadout in the speeder truck. And then you've got Maul with Force Choke, Push, Into the Fray, and Darksaber to kind of... He's on his own, so he's just going to do his thing and do what he does best. And then you've got the Pike Capo with your foot soldiers to kind of go after other objectives, like the key positions. And then, with Bombing Run, again, you could just put them on all on the bikes. And then for Breakthrough, vehicles still count. So that's why we have it on there. And then sometimes what I think with the AG-2G quad laser is putting the, Reckless Driver on there. Because you get a compulsory move, which means that you can move, which you want to do, and then you can aim and shoot, because you've got so much black dice without surging. The aim could really help. So sometimes I'd put Reckless Driver on there. I don't know why I can't remember that. You would have to, take away probably improvised orders to put him on there, because you're short a point. Really sucks. True, I know. But... yeah, I mean, it could be worth it. You'd probably have 3 points left, so you could probably put a grenade on somebody, like one of the pikes or something. That's really about it. But this still gives you 10 activations, 3 swoop bikes, a speeder truck with everything. Everything. I say at least a conch droid for shields, a big gun, and then the raiding party leader for that demoralize. And then you've got 4 units that can dish out that suppression, and then you still have Maul. And so... you've got 4 different threats. Like in the last one, you really have like 5 threats, because with the buses, a little bit more maybe, because the buses can still shoot, but you know that they're about to drop off their payload or the Black Sun Enforcers. So what are you going to do? Shoot at the buses and leave the swoop bikes to go do their thing? Or are you going to try to go after the swoop bikes and ignore the buses and bring them to you, or maybe try to split fire and damage stuff but not really take care of it? It's a tough choice. And with 11 activations, you're going to be doing... You might be out-activating a lot of other lists who like to take 8 act lists, 9 act lists. So, yeah, this is going to do way, way better than that because of the activations. And then with Maul having Force Choke, I mean, obviously with Force Choke, you can change that for Burst of Speed just to make sure that he either stays behind the speeder trucks or he gets in before the swoop bikes, or, in time with the swoop bikes. You could also just use his 2-pip, the Phantom Menace, to kind of get him into like an infiltrated position, and if there's no one else around, if there's no way to give out that order to another trooper unit, because with the Phantom Menace, you have to give it to a Maul and a trooper if eligible. So like if there is no other trooper unit at range 1 to 3 of Maul, you don't have to give it out, but you can give it to Maul. But if there is another trooper unit at range 1 to 3 of him, you'd have to give that order to someone, which negates your independent, so you don't want to do that. But yeah, and it's not a unit, it just says trooper, so you wouldn't be able to give it to the AA5 truck. So that's why if you can, get Maul away with infiltrate, and then have the swoop bikes meet him, or get them all into a melee and then have the swoop bikes run over, kind of help him out by attacking the person he's engaged with, and then maybe wounding them a little bit, allowing Maul to kind of finish it up, whatever you need to do. But yeah, again, I like that the swoop bikes can, it's overrun one, so you're only going to be rolling a red and 2 white, even if there's 2 of them. And then you would, drive over somebody, doing an overrun attack, maybe drive over another unit, giving them an overrun attack, and then you could shoot them. I don't know. There's just so much potential with that. It's just maximizing it is going to be a little tough. Next, we have CAD Bane and a double bus with triple bikes. So I have the double buses, but just with the raiding party leader. No shields, no medic, no guns, nothing. They are strictly there to just deliver the payloads while your swoop bikes are harassing everyone else. CAD Bane is either going after objectives or harassing. I have the electro gauntlets just to make sure that if he needs to escape melee, he can, because you can perform moves while engaged with a unit that has a mobilized token or more, even while this card is exhausted. So at least this gives you the ability to leave melee if you were to give someone an immobilized token, even from your 2-pip, because his 2-pip, I'm in control, allows you to get rid of any number of suppression and give it to any other trooper units at range 1 to 2 of him. And they're going to gain at least... Alright, so if a unit gains a suppression from this card, they're also going to gain an immobilized token. So if you're in melee, and you've already used your gauntlets, then, or you haven't, you can still technically leave that kind of melee. But you're probably going to have exhausted these first, and then maybe use I'm Control a different turn, or if you wanted to, but that kind of makes him a little bit more mobile. And then I've got that duck and cover to be able to dish out that suppression to others who are around him. Then improvised orders on the pike capo and 2 foot soldiers, giving you, again, 11 activations. Just to make sure, again, you out-activate your opponent, and you don't waste too much on the speeder trucks, because if everyone's bringing anti-armor, you don't want to, jack up so many upgrades onto the speeder truck, because they're probably going to get exploded. We'll just say that. So that's why I just have the raiding party leader on there to help with the speed bikes, or the swoop bikes, I should say, and for that extra demoralize with the speeder trucks when they come in and bring the Black Sun Enforcers. Or, if they're too far away to give out that suppression, at least you bring in the Black Sun, and then, yeah, the rest is history, as you know. Nothing crazy. I bring all of CAD Bane's, cards. Another thing is if you had the extra points, or if you didn't want improvised orders, you could put the comms relay on CAD, so that if you did need it to, and this is good with I'm in control, it says CAD Bane in a unit, so if you had the comms relay on there, or even with I make the rules now, you could give it to the buses. So like with the CAD Bane's I'm in control, instead of giving it to him, you give it to one bus, and then the other unit could be the bus, because they don't have independent, so giving them the order is going to be amazing, because then you have better control over when to bring the Black Sun's Enforcers in to melee, or into combat, I should say. And then I always bring situational awareness on CAD, because he's got the white dice saves. He does have independent dodge too, so he's going to be getting 2 dodges. So being able to cancel those crits is very important to me. And yeah, he does have danger sense, and then with this 1-pip uncanny luck, so he has ways to kind of hope to stay alive, but it just really honestly depends. But this is another 11 act list, just to make sure that you out-activate your opponent, and you've got CAD Bane for that bounty hunter, or that bounty, I should say, to be able to get an extra victory point just in case. And lastly, this is a double bus Maul list. So you're bringing a double bus, one with the Reckless Driver and the AG2G quad laser, like I said. You do the compulsory move, and then you have the ability to aim and shoot. So that way you don't double move, making it impossible for the Black Suns to disembark and shoot. Because if you double move with trucks, you're not going to be able to disembark and shoot. You're only going to be able to disembark. So that's why with the Reckless Driver, you can at least do your compulsory move, get in, and then take an aim, shoot with the quad laser. Or if you go last with this and then first with this speeder truck, you can triple move, and then you could then do the compulsory move, hopefully run over some people, aim and shoot, and then disembark at some point. So the reckless driver is really nice. You just can't back up, because with the reckless driver, when you activate, perform a compulsory move. So it has to be at the beginning of your turn, and then you cannot reverse. Period. That it just there is no reversing. So it's not like you can, do your compulsory move and then go backwards. You're only going forward. So there's a lot of weird, repositioning they're going to have to keep doing, and luckily they get it for free. So that's going to be nice. But you're going to roll a white defense dice for each mini in the unit, and that unit suffers a wound for each, block. This is also going to be a great way to get just an extra attack onto dark troopers. So, like, a lot of people, having them roll for defense sucks because they got red dice saves. So the best way to do that, I think, is either with Din, because of his Amban rifle being able to put on that second wound or whatever wound they need, and or his 3-pip Whistling Birds, where he can just give out damage. There's no rolling for it. He just prevents you from rolling. He just gives you damage. Same with that reckless driver. If he rolls, obviously, the block, but it's nice to be able to kind of like force damage without you being able to defend. So there is that. Then you have the Frenzied Gunner with the heavy laser retrofit, just to give you that extra dice that is not there. And then he's got the backworld medic, and this bus is kind of meant to stay in the back, or stay back a little bit, and keep the Black Suns in so that you can prevent your enemy from flanking you. So that is a great way to help your lines. And again, no one can get past the AA5 speeder truck, obviously, unless they jump over it. But yeah, it's a roadblock, so it's going to be really nice to have. And what you could do is, with Maul, I have Force Push, Burst of Speed, the Dark Saber, and Into the Fray, so that he can stay behind the buses for as long as possible and then jump in when he needs to. And since he has Jump 1, it makes him a little bit more mobile and allows him to get in when he needs to. And then finishing out the list with the Pike Capo and 3 Pike Syndicate Foot Soldiers to go after, again, those objectives or anything else in the back. And if you needed to save points, you could get rid of one of the Black Sun Enforcers and get rid of Burst of Speed, put Force Choke, and put Maul in one of these buses. Maybe the Frenzied Gunner with the Backworld Medic, just in case. But, I've had a game where I had a double bus with Maul, and Maul was in one bus, and then Black Suns were in another one. Well, they went after the bus with Maul in it, and before Maul could activate, they took out the bus, leaving Maul another wound and his order face down, and not quite in the open, but Maul was stranded the whole rest of the turn, and it didn't turn out well. So another learning experience as to why you probably don't want to put Maul in a speeder truck, even with the refurbished Gonk Droid. It just, especially if you're out activated, and with 9 activations in this one, you're probably not going to want to do that. You're probably just going to keep him, again, behind the buses, because there's line of sight blocking. And if you had to, maybe you could, if you needed Maul to move further, you could have that bus parked, go with the Black Sun Enforcers, disembark, and shoot. You could go with Maul, move, and embark, or move, embark, and then you can go with the speeder truck, and then double move, and then just get Maul even farther. So there's lots of good, cool ways to be able to use that bus to either maneuver Maul or other units around. Even if you're using the Rebel AA5, it's a great way to get, R2-D2 into your opponent's deployment zone for that secret mission. Yeah, they're pretty nice to have. I mean, I think that the AA5 trucks are absolutely awesome. And I love having a transport unit that can keep my Black Sun Enforcers safe before they go absolutely wreck your opponent's stuff. So that's really it. Oh, yeah, there it is. I did have the overrun thing on over here. But yeah, if you haven't been to the Legion Quick Guide by the 5th Trooper, go ahead, head there. It's really nice. I promise you. But yeah, that's really it. I know this last list didn't have 3 bikes in it, but if you are interested in any of these vehicle lists, especially with the bikes, then the lists are down below so that you can try them out. And if you do have any success with them, let me know, because I think it's really cool to see people who use these lists actually succeed and do well. And I've had a few people in the Discord, use some of these lists that they've seen and say that they've had some success with them. So hopefully these videos kind of help you strategize or get ideas for lists or combos. And if you have gotten help from this, then leave a comment down below, and that is also going to help you win for the next gift card, because the winner is in the community section where I've made a post about it. So congratulations, and yeah, let me know, contact me to get information on that gift card. Now, it's better to be in America because it's an Amazon gift card, and the Amazon that I have is obviously the American version and not an international version. But if there's something else that we can do, maybe send it through Venmo or something like that. I just want people who win to be able to use that money for whatever they need, especially for Legion stuff. But whatever. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and head to the Discord. Put in any of the questions you have, or comments you have, or lists you have, or whatever you want. Definitely put it up there. It's nice to see how far we've grown and how many people have decided to join. I remember when there was just very few people in here, like 20 people, 30 people, and now we're at over 170, over 180. What was that? 148, and then 39. So we're gonna say that's 40. So about 183. Yeah. Plus me, I guess 184, whatever. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And then if you haven't already, head to the Patreon where you can become a member and, get the videos way ahead of time and watch them early, and eventually help with the Patreon giveaway and stuff like that. So yeah. And lastly, you can head over to theBurnAcademy.com where you can sign up for $15 a month and subscribe to get 3, 4, 5, and 6 day a week workout programs, a corrective exercise program in case you've had any shoulder, back, or hip and knee injuries. It's not rehab, but it's to help you kind of get back stronger, those little weak points. And then, 30-minute program in case you're short on time, 120 different recipes and ways to track your progress and make sure that you are actually succeeding and progressing. But all right, guys, I want to give a special shout out to these members: Kitsune, Emperor Atlantis, Tyson, and Anthony Estrada. Thank you so much and the new Patreon member who just signed up recently. I haven't gotten your information yet, but as soon as I do, I'm going to put it up there and you'll be on the next video. So I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for what you do, and may y'all have a great rest of your day.